Hello, Legend of the Samurai here with another Japanese high pin count dimple lock. This is the West 917. This is an upgraded version of the 916, and this one has 3 rows of pins, left, top, and right, and they have added from the 12 in the 916, 8 more pins, bringing the total to 20 pins, 7, 7, and 6 as you go around. So this one is consequently much harder to pick. And because of that third row, it is much more crowded to the point where you can't actually get any tools up above the side rows of pins to pick in the proper directions. So this will involve some picking in the wrong direction, and it will involve a lot of chasing things around. So bear with me and we'll see how this goes. That's 1 on the right, 4 on the left, 5 on the left, those are most of the standards. Now I'm going to see if I can get the top row. It's 4 and 5, and then 7 is a hard reach back here. I think I got it. 4 and 5 stayed set. It's 4 again on the left. 1, 1, 2, 3, 3 on the left. 7 on the left, 3 on the right, another click out of 3 on the right, that's 4 on the right. Top again. It's number 2 and 1 on the top. 4 again on the left. So another one out of 6 on the left. All right, so I've lost feedback, so I'm going to let off tension a little bit. See if something was overset. Ah, there we go. So, there we are, open. And like the 916, I will not spin this one because the pin chambers are all staggered and they won't relock, but they are small enough to fit in the keyway, so they would fall in. But there we are, open. Lock that back up. And now take it apart. The key still works. I can show the bitting on this one is actually quite severe. So they have 7 positions up top here, and these 2 are essentially zero lift. So if you disturb those, they will overset, and the key pins on them are spooled. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, those are also essentially zero lift. You have to tap them the tiniest bit, but if you go beyond that, those are also spooled key pins, and they will overset. And if you'll notice, it is zero lift, zero lift, zero lift, all right in a row, and there's 2 of those, which means getting back in here to the rest of the pins is quite difficult. So, this would normally be in a big housing, but that is off already. And it uses the same sliding Bible covers as the 916. And most of these drivers are these same mushrooms as before. And mixed in with some standards. Right, next row. And finally our last row. This one has a larger spring for a ball bearing detent. And then right up at the front in this row, there is a little piece of hardened drill protection. All right, that's all of our pins. And so you can show that the pin chambers do not line up as you go around until you hit that nice open keyway. So that's why you don't want to spin these. Pop the C-clip off. And then inside here, there it went. There are a couple more pieces of drill protection. I think, yeah, that's the one that likes to fall out. So there's one buried here and one there that seems to be loose. And then there could be ones installed in these two positions, but they aren't in this lock. So here we are. We have the plug. The left and right rows have this same overmilling, although this one doesn't appear to come back in on itself. This is just straight overmilling. And the top row doesn't have any. But both side rows do in all positions. And then we have the same divot for the ball bearing detent. And then over here, we actually have two different sets of construction holes that will only interact with these three chambers. So it looks like you could rekey this potentially twice off of construction keys. And then, as before, keyway is empty, just broached straight through. There's our plug. Housing is essentially the same as before. It just adds another row up top, very nicely machined. And then, for our key pins, they are the same as in the 916. We have our standard key pins, our sharp little mushroom drivers, and then in the side rows, we have these taller spooled key pins, which give you counter rotation in both steps and overset if you lift them at all. Those sit under standard drivers. And then in the top row, we have slightly narrower diameter normal key pins. So this one is a maximum lift. This one is one of those zero lifts with that tiny bit of spooling, but a nice sharp tip and a taper, so it will also give you counter rotation. So if you don't know where those are, interpreting the feedback from these locks is rather difficult. And they use both standard and mushrooms in the top row as well. So in terms of spooled key pins, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. The rest are standard key pins. There are 12 mushrooms here and 8 standard drivers. So very much a lock where you either need to know what's going on inside, or you're going to spend a long time brute forcing through trying to figure out which of these are spooled key pins. All right, that is the West 917. They're considerably harder to find than the 916, but if you see any of these West keys with bitting on the sides, that's one way to know it's the 917, and they come with all 20 pins installed standard, so far as I can tell. So if you can find one of these, they are a difficult lock, and I would very much recommend picking one up. All right, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.